Today I want to give you a review of The Hive and the Honeybee. Should they spend the money on this book? Hello world! Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for stopping by my channel and taking a look at this video. If this is your first time to see one of my videos, my name is Mickey. I live in the great state of Texas with my dog Buckshot, and I'm on a homestead journey. Being a homesteader, I think a lot about living a self-sustaining life, growing my own food, raising animals, and beekeeping. Big aspect of homesteading. Any type of growing requires pollinators, and beekeeping is one of those ways that you can grow pollinators right on your own property. You know, there's lots of information out on the internet about beekeeping. There's lots of YouTube channels that you can watch that have some really good beekeepers who have some great apiaries, and you can certainly learn from them. But I always feel there's nothing better than learning from a good book. Of course, there's lots of books on beekeeping. There's many to choose from, but most people, I think, would agree that there's one that is kind of the Beekeepers Bible, and that is The Hive and the Honeybee. If you've never seen this book, you can find it on the internet. It's a Dedant Publications book. Today I want to give you a review of this book. Since I've already bought it, I thought it might benefit some people out there who maybe are still trying to decide, should they spend the money on this book? It is a little expensive. Let's talk about it in detail. Now, this book was originally written by Reverend Lorenzo Lorraine Langstroth, and you may have heard of the Langstroth name. He wrote the first edition in 1853, and it was called Langstroth on the Hive and the Honeybee, a Beekeeper's Manual. And Langstroth was born in 1810 in Philadelphia. As I say, you've probably heard the Langstroth name. He modernized beekeeping through his invention of the top opening movable frame hive, the kind that we commonly see today, with the boxes stacked on top of each other vertically, sometimes called supers, and the frames with the beeswax in them that you can take out of the hive. Now, it's amazing that 167 years later, and we're still using Reverend Langstroth's hives today. After his first printing in 1853, Langstroth put out 3 new editions to his books, one in 1857, one in 1859, and one in 1875. Then he turned ill, and he reached out to another kind of founding father of apiology named Charles Dedant. Dedant is from the Champagne-Ardenne region of France. And Charles Dedant, he really wanted to be a vintner. That was really his goal, was to make great wines. But after paying to move his family to America and buying a ranch, he didn't find success. So eventually he ends up turning back to beekeeping, which is a hobby that he had while he was in France. So Charles Dedant and his son end up making pretty good money by selling honey and beeswax, and they end up making commercial products and eventually invent several of the beekeeping tools and things that we use today. Eventually they end up building the first factory to produce bee-related products and tools. You know, that factory still stands today and is still family-owned business. So Langstroth, being ill, he's been communicating with Charles Dedant and his sons, and he decides to co-author the next edition of the book, and they worked through 1885 to produce a co-authored book. Now, eventually Langstroth dies in 1895, but the Dedant family continued to carry on revisions and additional releases of his book. Now, this is important because although today you see this book as a Dedant Publications book, this is still Langstroth's original work. Now, many editions and revisions are available both on the internet and in stores, so it's pretty easy to find. I've seen copies available in paperback that are in okay condition for $20, all the way up to $110 for a good quality hardback version. I'm really not sure why certain versions are $100+ for various hardbacks. I guess it's for the historical significance of the book, because if you just go to the Dedant website, you can get the book on the latest revision, which is 2015, by the way, for $54.50. Now, as I mentioned, there are lots of editions and revisions out there, and if you buy the current copy on the Dedant site, it's the 2015 edition. But it's important to note that anything before 1992 will be missing 27% of the information that is available in an edition that is later than 2000. So it's important to get a later revision. You might be okay with getting something, say, 2005 or 2007. I have the 2010 version, for example, and I'm not concerned about missing what's in the 2015 revisions, but your mileage may vary. So when it comes to the content of the book, be aware that this is not a story form. This isn't a book really for reading. This is an encyclopedia of technical information. If you're looking to enjoy a good read and sit down and read a story-like format, this is not the book for you. However, if you're looking for an encyclopedia of every bit of information about bees and the pheromones of bees and commercializing bees and bee products and bee health, bee anatomy, this is the book for you. Now, there's excellent information and immense detail in this book. There's so many chapters. I don't know exactly how many, but there's chapters on the history of beekeeping. There's anatomy, physiology, nutrition, genetics, breeding, disease and pests, injury and poisoning, activities and behavior, pheromones, production, products they're talking about, pollination, management of bees, beekeeping businesses, processing of products, and all different types of products that can come from beekeeping. So there's an extensive amount of both beekeeping and bee product commercialization and all types of apiology information. So that's really why they call this the Beekeepers Bible. Another thing that I noted was that some of the pictures were a little bit difficult to see. They're in black and white. Again, this is coming from such a historical source, and so much time has gone by, and there's been so many revisions that some of the pictures look a little outdated and they're a little bit hard to see. So, it'd be nice if they could be updated. I don't know about printing in color. At $54.50 for the current hardback version, it might make the book really overpriced. Another thing to note is that while you can probably get most of this information from other sources, maybe out on the internet, maybe looking at other books, YouTube videos, Google searching and everything, at the end of the day, it would take you hours and hours and days and maybe even weeks to find all the information that's available within this book. And I think along the way, you'd probably be questioning yourself, like I do a lot of times when I find things on the internet and I think, man, can I really trust this? Or I find two pieces of information that are contradictory and I wonder, I can't fact check this. Who can I talk to really understand whether this is right or wrong? You don't have to worry about that with the Hive and the honeybee as a reference. Okay, so since I'm calling this a review, I felt it important to have some criteria to review by. And this being my first book review, I've come up with the criteria that I'm going to use. So let me explain a little bit about how I've come to this conclusion. My rating system for books is going to be based on the 5-star system, 1 star being the worst and 5-star being the best for each category. And there's 5 categories. First is quality. Quality being the binding and the print, the paper stock and the cover stock. Is it a well-made book for the money? Second is the content. Does the book's material meet your expectations? Is it just the same content that you could get out of any other book? You know, a lot of times you'll maybe buy 2 or 3 books on a subject or topic, and you find that, hey, they're all kind of the same. I could have gotten this out of the first blah blah book for dummies that I bought. You know, is it thorough and complete? Covers the topic well, and is it up to date? Third is readability. Is it clear? Is it a good read? Or, you know, is it well written and decipherable? Can you understand it? Fourth is the value. What's the price point versus the content and the quality? And last is have to have it. Do I really have to have this? Can I find the information elsewhere? Do I really need it to succeed? Do I have to have it or not, right? Here's my review of the Dant publications, the Hive and the Honeybee. First off, for quality, I give it 5 stars. I mean, the binding is fantastic, the quality of the paper stock is great, the cover is excellent, and at the end of the day, this is a book I can tell that I could pass down for generations, and it's going to be just as nice and hold its binding years from now as it does today. So 5 stars for quality. The content, I give it 5 stars. It's the Beekeepers Bible after all, right? It has just about everything, and what it doesn't, it still needs further research. I mean, there's not a whole lot that you're not going to find in this book, and it'll tell you, hey, we just don't have enough room in this chapter to put all the information that we know, but by the way, we still need to study this subject. Readability, I give it 3 stars. It's pretty clear, but it's highly technical, and it's an encyclopedia of technical knowledge. So if you're not into reading technical books and encyclopedias, it's a little bit difficult to read. For value, I gave it 4 stars. It's really everything in one book that's put together as a family heirloom to be passed down. At $54.50, it's a little bit expensive. You know, not everybody can afford that much money to spend on a book, but again, to have everything in one place and to be such a high quality book, I think it deserves 4 stars. Have to have, I give it 3 stars. I personally wanted this book mainly for the historical significance and to feel as though I had the definitive source in hand. And since I've learned a little bit more and I understand better what other resources are available to learn from, honestly, I think I could do without this book and still be successful as a beekeeper. I think there's enough information out there, enough apiaries that I could visit, enough people who are willing to talk to me that I could learn from them and not have to have this reference material. I hope you enjoyed my first book review. The Hive and the Honeybee, a Dant publication, is a 4-star book. 5 for quality, 5 for content, 3 stars for readability, 4 stars for value, and 3 stars for have to have, giving it an average of 4 stars. So that's it for this review. It's my first. I hope you got something out of it. I hope that you'll take the time to give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I left anything out, or just tell me what you think about the DAMP publications or the Hive and the honeybee. Thanks for stopping by. And don't forget, happiness is the new wealth. Tell me. Atta boy.